without being able to steer. This happened at Mount Van Hoevenberg early today.
The skeletons have come out of the closet. It's fast, furious, and with fearless athletes driven in their quest for speed. American Jim Shea, the 1999 world champion, will take it to the edge on the challenging new track in Lake Placid. They've put away the luge sleds and along with it the luge controversy, but the action promises to be just as exciting here at Mount Van Hoevenberg for the men's skeleton competition. Well, it snowed all night in the Adirondacks, but it is clearing up with 17-degree temperatures here. That will only mean, once again, fast and slick sliding down this track. Hi, everyone. Tim Singer along with John Morgan. If you've been watching the luge over the past couple of days, you know you've seen some crazy action. Now we introduce you to the new Olympic sport of skeleton. Skeleton competitor Jim Shea called those lugers damn silly. But skeleton isn't the sanest thing on the ice either.
No, 70 miles an hour head first down an icy chute with your chin inches off the ice. I wouldn't call that sane, Tim.
Now, on the subject of Jim Shea, he is one exciting athlete.
Well, he's an individual athlete. He tried bobsledding, which is really a team sport, a couple years ago, adjusted over into skeleton, won the World Championships last year in Altenburg, Germany, and he's got very impressive start times, and I'd like to say this is his home track, Tim, but it's nobody's home track.
Not at all, but he is the world champion. This is a 4-heat race. We already have 1 heat behind us. Let's check out the highlights. The Norwegians are known for their skiing and their skating, not so much their sledding.
But they know how to travel across ice quickly, as this Norwegian did here. He took advantage of an early draw and posted the best time of the heat.
Snorre Peterson, in fact, had the lead until the final sled. Who else? Jim Shea.
He's got the best start time in the world in the first 50 meters. He blew away the competition there, but I was impressed with the way he maintained his speed all the way down the track.
Pumped with adrenaline and hometown emotion with his father at his side, Shea takes over first place. So after the first run here at this brand new track, hey, they may call it Shea Stadium by the time this weekend's done. Jim Shea atop the leaderboard ahead of Snorre Peterson of Norway. In fact, the Americans are 1-3 with Soule holding down the bronze medal position. First up here in heat number 2, certainly the most consistent skeleton slider all year long. From Great Britain, this is Koshi and Bromley.
Yeah, he's won 2 World Cups. Fell off at the Winterberg World Cup that really hurt his World Cup overall title.
17th place is only really horrible showing all year.
Yeah, he just about had a lock on the World Cup title to that. And Tim, he's a good slider. As soon as we said that, bang.
Now, John, unlike bobsled and luge, there really is no technical way to steer one of these things.
No, this is all body lean and movement and bravery, Tim. And look at the way he's coming down this track. I tell you, this thing is unbelievable. This is such a man versus the mountain sport. And he's way out of control in the labyrinths right here in 12. Real low there because he's got no speed. Look at that. He's 42 hundredths off the pace of the sled that just came down in the chicane. What kind of speed? But he's got great speed there. 71 miles an hour. His feet are together.
Felix Paletti of Switzerland took the lead just prior to hitting air here. He is at the finish line. But here comes Koshi and Bromley of Great Britain. Will he do it? He crosses the finish line with a time of 2:04.15, and by 0.6 of a second, the British skeleton slider moves into the lead. Much more to come from Mount Van Hoevenberg as we take you to the break. We look at the Olympic champion of the year 2014 and 2022. Tim Singer, John Morgan back here at beautiful Mount Van Hoevenberg. That was a look at Sarah Shea, the sister of Jim Shea, the American frontrunner who we'll be seeing in a moment. But now up at the top is Kazuhiro Koshi of Japan. He was in 4th place after the first run.
Boy, he won that World Cup in Nagano earlier in the year, and he has generated an unbelievable amount of interest in the sport of skeleton in Japan, just because of that victory, Tim. And he's one of the best technical riders we're going to see in the competition.
Koshi was one of those sliders from way back when. He's 35 years old, but was one of the pioneers of this sport long before Olympic talk.
Yeah, and he walks around the mountain with a big grin on his face. Everybody's favorite type athlete. Very smooth so far. He's got a very big lead on Bromley. It's 55 hundredths of a second, but Bromley was very clean on the bottom part of the track, and Koshi looks cleaner. Smooth out of 12.
Here's the intermediate split time now, 0.7 of a second ahead.
Into the chicane. Is he going to get through here? Perfect. 72 miles an hour. That's some of the best speed we've seen. Bottom part of the track. He's going to need this aerodynamic bullet for him to have a chance to move up. He doesn't care about the British. He wants to reel in the other sled.
Kazuhiro Koshi of Nagano, Japan, crosses the finish line well out in front by 1.15 seconds. He is the leader with 3 sleds remaining.
Boy, Tim, he was perfect on the bottom part of this track. Chicane. Watch the way his head is down on the ice. Now he tilts up a little bit to look. No spray coming off the runners. 72-mile-an-hour speeds, and this is why he's the leader by far.
3 sleds remain, but there is a look at your leader, Kazuhiro Koshi of Japan. 27-year-old Chris Soule of Trumbull, Connecticut, the Rodney Dangerfield of the United States program, with all of the attention going to Jim Shea. He gets no respect, but he is in 3rd place here after 1 run.
In fact, he's had a higher ranking in the World Cup circuit than Jim Shea did. Shea beat him in the World Championships. Shea with the bronze medal.
Soule is the reigning national champion on a snowy night in Park City earlier this year.
Well, I say he's a better rider than Jim, but gives up a lot of time at the start to Jim Shea. But on this track, I don't know how much that means. Because this track, boy, I tell you, the start time is not the big advantage we see in the other tracks.
One thing that has helped the American program is their 2-time world champion coach from Canada, Ryan Davenport.
Well, he is technically the most valuable person the United States has ever had in the program. Builds sleds, sells them to a lot of countries, too. And he is... Soule is rocketing down this track right now. Look at this curve, 12, and he's way too high there.
And he is 22 hundredths ahead of Koshi at that split.
The key is going to be the chicane. His feet are out. Only 71 miles an hour speed. Remember, the Japanese competitor had 72-mile-an-hour speeds. It's going to be close here in the finish.
It takes a lot of heart and soul to make it down this run safely, and Chris Soule has done it and is a half second out in front. There's a look at Peter Vikulis, the head coach, along with Ryan Davenport of this United States program. He's pleased. He is smelling 2 medals here.
Well, on 12 here, it gets way up high, but look at the exit. He doesn't even come over and bang. So I'll tell you, that is an unbelievable exit for him. That's probably where he picked up a lot of speed. Here in the chicane, though, we got problems on the right-hand side. His foot comes out. He's trying to balance himself. Both feet come out. Looking for spray. It's pretty good recovery. Had to be to have that type of lead at the bottom.
Well, there's a look at Kazuhiro Koshi at the bottom. All he can say is, whoa, not a bad run. Well, still ahead here at Mount Van Hoevenberg, we've got the other American, Jim Shea, hoping to stay in the lead.
Comfort in our strength.
It was less than a year ago that they broke ground on this new track. Now, 1 year and $24 million later, we have a Goodwill Games competition. Tim Singer and John Morgan back here at Mount Van Hoevenberg, where American Chris Soule sits atop the standings midway through this competition, but with still 2 sleds remaining here in run number 2. From Norway, in 2nd place after the first heat, Snorre Peterson.
He's been coming on this year, Tim. He's not a household name for us the last couple of years in this sport, but he has to be a great slider to be in second place here to the first heat.
He thought this track was so tough when he first arrived, he compared the officials to that of the Berlin Olympics, but he changed his tune a couple of days later and said, hey, the Goodwill games are for the children. Now that's a good attitude.
Well, it's a good attitude as he continues to increase his lead as he comes down the track. Now here in 8, I mean, look at the form he's got here. Look at the feet. Watch him in shading. Look at the bullet form. He looks really clean now through the labyrinth. He's going to get sucked up here in 12. Let's watch the exit. Great exit out of 12.
37 hundredths of a second ahead of American Chris Soule at the latest split. Now 39.
72.2 mile per hour speeds. Again, that form is there. He's looking real good to be atop of the leaderboard after this run.
It looks like Peterson.
Here he comes. The final few seconds, has great speed working around that last uphill corner. And around the finish, one late bump and lost a bit of the lead, but he does maintain first place by a mere 17 hundredths of a second.
I think the speed, his form in shady right here is perfect. Tim, a little low there, though. Look at him real low there. Climbs here at the end, but boy, he had great exits out of shady, great exits out of 12. I don't know where he lost it. Watch him come out of here on the right-hand wall. Here he is in the chicane. Foot comes out on the right side here. He looks up. He's looking to find himself through this little S aspect of the track. The speed is on the exit of 14. Someplace down here, Tim, he lost about 0.3 of a second.
He has the lead with one slider remaining. Well, all of our build-up leads up to this. Jim Shea Sr. looking nervous, but throwing his instructions the direction of his son. Here is Jim Shea Jr., the 1999 World Skeleton Champion, with a big lead entering this second run.
Well, the turnover and drive at the start, watch his start time, blows everybody away, 5:13. Nobody else is even close to that type of start. But as we already know, the start is in Everton. You have to drive this track.
When this 31-year-old Lake Placid native won the World Championship, it was in Altenburg, Germany, perhaps the most similar track to this one.
Yeah, it's the toughest track in the world. It's where it really is a man versus the mountain competition. After you get down to the bottom, you look at your competitor's time. You just want to get down and get down smooth. And Shea is looking smooth.
This is an Olympic sport in 2002. This may be the front runner you're watching for the gold medal.
Boy, he was clean. He's increasing his lead even more here, Tim. The chicane, he had no problems last time. 72.2 mile an hour speed. Boy,
in front of his friends and his family in his hometown, Jim Shea will be crossing this finish line with a huge lead. The 1999 world champion, hey, we may as well call this new track Shea Stadium.
Wow.
Because look at that lead. Dad is pleased, but he won't rest until tomorrow. We're just midway through this competition.
I tell you, Tim, the tougher the track, the better the glide for Jim Shea. He's high on the wall in that big 180-degree whip around, but his exit down here into the labyrinth was fantastic. I'm really impressed with his driving. Look at here, the fastest part of the track, little out of control out of 14, but he recovers well. He's had 2 perfect trips down the track. Everybody else is 1 out of 2. Jim Shea's 2 out of 2 down this track, Tim.
It's a family affair of Olympic tradition, and it's a family affair here at Mount Van Hoevenberg as Jim Shea watches Jim Shea take over the lead midway through this Goodwill Games men's skeleton event. For all of this celebration, keep in mind this is only halftime. Midway through this competition, 2 out of 4 runs done. Jim Shea out in front, American Chris Soule in 3rd place. Great showing for the USA. Well, Jim Shea is known as a great athlete, a great starter in this sport, but it was his perfect driving today that made the difference and is our Autotrader.com critical moment. Well, no time for premature celebration. We do it all over again tomorrow with bobsled and skeleton here at Mount Van Hoevenberg.
When I first